Howdy, howdy, folks. Once again, this is Donnie with another Linux security report. And in this case, we're not really looking at Linux per se. We're looking at everything. We're looking at every operating system and, the consumer stuff too. I mean, we're looking at everything here, not just Linux. But anyway, the theme here from the ZDNet article is cybersecurity is broken. Here's how we start to fix it. We are building our future on a creaking digital foundation, and it's time for that to change. So, according to this author, cybersecurity is in a terrible state, possibly the worst it's ever been, because literally not a day goes by without another report of a security breach or a data spill or a hack spilling corporate secrets. There's plenty of blame to go around. The crooks and the scammers, petty criminals, organized crime, they can extort us with ransomware or steal corporate data or our credit card details with phishing attacks. Not just with a phishing attack, also they figured out some way to install readers on legitimate readers. Like I got bit by that once at a gas pump. Because, hey, I didn't know to look for that. It's kind of funny. Whoever stole my credit card that time ordered like $2,300 of Victoria's Secret stuff with it. And the girl from the credit card company told me that. I had to laugh. I said, boy, somebody has an expensive girlfriend. But anyway, to continue, few police forces have the time or the money or the skill to catch these groups or to bring them to justice. And I just saw another video. It's unrelated to the cybersecurity, but it had to do with something else. But there's the fact that a lot of our law enforcement, they just don't have the skill. And judges, if things go to court, right, a lot of them are in an older generation or from an older generation, and they don't understand technology. They don't understand the whole internet business, and yet they're making decisions about things that affect people's lives, when it comes to this business. So it's kind of crazy. But anyway, few police forces have the time, money, and skill to catch these groups or bring them to justice. And then there are the state-backed hackers who switch between espionage and cyber warfare, and the governments that either turn a blind eye to their activities or possibly encourage them. So what about the enterprise? Okay, well, here's something that there's really a lot of blame to go around here, because you've got people in the enterprise who are in charge of IT. Part of their responsibility is making sure their systems are locked down, making sure that they are secure. And yet, when software vulnerabilities pop up and patches get issued to fix those vulnerabilities, a lot of times the IT administrators just don't install the patches for whatever weird reason. And, well, I know one of the reasons, there are people out there who take great pride on the amount of time that their servers can go without being rebooted, right? And it's especially prevalent amongst the Linux people because, Linux, it doesn't have the memory leaks that Windows has, so you can keep it running a lot longer without, the performance issues popping up like it does with Windows. But you don't want to do that because you want to install the patches. So Linux is like everything else, it's made by humans. It's not perfect. So when security patches come out for it, you want to install them. And yes, there are a lot of patches that do require a machine to be rebooted. So, just get rid of all this I don't know what you call it. I'm searching for a word. Get rid of all this enthusiasm, I guess, for wanting to keep maximum uptime on your servers. Take them down once in a while so you can install the security patches. Okay? It's not rocket science. But anyway, according to tech researcher Canalys, companies spent $37 billion on cybersecurity last year, up 9% from the year before. It might seem like a big number, but despite the apparently high priority that that organizations give to protecting data and networks, that still only counts for about 2% of total IT expenditure last year. And it's not just about the money. Company bosses don't have a strong grasp of cybersecurity, even though they tick the boxes on compliance, while further down the organization, the tech workers don't think they've got the money or skills to keep data safe. And that's one of the things that you'll find anytime you attend any type of security course. So if you go for some security certification, like Security Plus or whatever else, or especially on the more advanced security certifications, one of the things they're going to tell you or try to teach you in that course is that you need to learn how to talk to your bosses about cybersecurity. And a lot of times you can't just go and talk to them and say, look, I need this much money in order to beef up my systems to make them more secure. You have to demonstrate to the bosses why they're not secure. Figure out some sort of a demonstration that you can do to show that, hey, we got a real problem here. This needs to be fixed. We need the money for it. Because, the bosses are about the bottom line. If they don't see some sort of a benefit for spending the money, they're probably not going to do it. So while 10 or 20 years ago, this might not have been much to worry about, now we're building our societies, our cities, our health services, transport, and energy on top of this digital infrastructure. And there are plenty of excellent reasons to do so. But we need to be aware that the foundations we are building on are in far worse shape than we realize. And the ongoing row over the security of future 5G networks is just one example of the challenges to come. And I'm old enough. I remember the days when there was no such thing as computers in the home, right? Computers were just those things that you heard about there in far off land somewhere, far off cities. You never heard of them. And the very first computer job I ever had, I was working with transistorized computers. So yeah, I go back a ways. But anyway, back then, when I was growing up, we didn't have to worry about cybersecurity at all because there was no cyber structure even. So, when we paid a bill, we either wrote a check and mailed it in, or we took it into the electric company or phone company or whatever, paid them right there. There were no computers, no online. Now everything is online, right? All your personal data are online. When you pay a bill, that's online. Do your banking, that's online. You got to have the security. And your health records, everything about you, it's all online, right? So we gotta do a better job of taking care of our cybersecurity. But there is one other group that needs to acknowledge its share of the blame too, us. And that's because we've been too willing to let corporate giants collect and aggregate and slice and mechanically separate our data and sell it. Not enough of us have reacted when our data have been leaked or stolen. It's not clear that a data breach stops us trusting a company anymore. What often happens is a small share price dip when a company admits to a security breach, but the impact is rarely long-lasting. Now, is that because there are so many breaches now that we simply cannot differentiate them between them? Don't know. But this to me is the way to turn the tide. First, we need to value our own personal data more. We need to understand the bargains that we make when we use the apps and services of big tech. We need to have a better understanding of what we are handing over, what they will do with our data, how they will protect it. To not simply respond with a shrug when it is lost or stolen or misused. That will send a message throughout the rest of the ecosystem, to businesses that will have to spend more on IT security, to the software companies that need to prioritize security over the rush to market, to governments, law enforcement, that change is needed. And this is especially important now because now we have the Internet of Things coming online. Yes, the Internet of Things. And, we've got cars now that constantly send telemetry data back to the car manufacturers. We got phones that we carry around that constantly send data back to the phone companies. And those phones, they can collect a wide range of data, not just your location, but I mean, you can actually have apps installed on the phone which will record how you walk, and they can identify then how you walk, and just all kinds of other things, right? Including your phone conversations and all else. All that stuff. We need to find a way to keep all those data secure. So we are building our futures on these digital networks. Let's make it very clear that we want and expect them to be secure. Alrighty, folks, with that said, time for a word from my sponsor, which is me and my book, Mastering Linux Security and Hardening. Yes, indeed, if you're in the IT business, you want to learn about security, and if you want to learn about Linux security, hey, I can help you do that here. Lots of practical hands-on recipes in here that you can use to lock down your Linux systems. So yeah, be sure to pick up a copy, and the purchase links will be in the video description below. Anyway, that's all for now. I thank you for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like it and subscribe, and also hit that little bell icon in there so that you can be notified when I post new videos. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for watching.